to the Remedy Report Newsroom. I'm your host with the most, Giselle the She-Boss. Tonight, we're back with another discussion about, you guessed it, our favorite topic. So, listen, tonight we're going to be discussing what an irrevocable trust is, the purpose of the irrevocable trust, some of the pros, some of the cons, how you can use it, who should have one, and any other questions that you might feel we did not cover. Please feel free to make sure you drop them down in the comments so we can give you some feedback, or we can give you more information to provide clarity, all right? Because once again, we're coming with news that you can use as tools. We're not here to debate or try to convince you of any particular ways that you can handle your administrative affairs. We just want to provide you with accurate, up-to-date, and resourceful information so that you can be the one to make your own decisions. So, let's get into it. Okay, so what is an irrevocable trust? An irrevocable trust is a trust structure that it's a legal arrangement used for someone, an individual who owns assets, to transfer the assets out of their own ownership and into the trust. Usually the transfer is permanent, and once you transfer assets to the trust, they're going to be parked there. There's no taking them in and going out. So I know a lot of people get confused when it comes to revocable and irrevocable, and they want to know what's the difference or how to even remember which one is which. So one of the ways I like to suggest remembering what a revocable trust is by remembering the word reversible. All right. Revocable means reversible. You can basically reverse or revoke, which means to take back or to make changes to your original legal arrangement or structuring of that trust. And the reason this may come in handy is because sometimes you have things going on in life when you make a trust or you create a trust today, things might change in about, another 5 years, and you may need to come back and update some things in your trust, some information, or you may just have a whole change of heart, or your structure of your trust may change. A revocable living trust, with you being the trustee and the beneficiary, you can actually make decisions, and that's why you have the ability to revoke or reverse your decisions. But in an irrevocable or irreversible, right, meaning that you can't reverse what you did. Once you put it into words, and once you actually officiate the documentation, you go record it. That is pretty much it's set in stone, as they say. So this could be good for certain purposes if you have like private property, family assets, or family heirlooms and things that you don't want to necessarily use in a commercial nature, or you're not using it to generate some type of revenue or stream of income, and you're just keeping it for personal assets, or you wish for that to transfer down to your heirs and descendants without going through probate. That would be a prime reason why you would have an irrevocable trust. Okay. Those are it's actually, it's ideal for assets that you don't plan on having to be used in a public or in a business setting. Okay. Now, if you were going to say maybe need more flexibility, a revocable trust may be in your best interest. I hear a lot of people asking, well, should I get a revocable? Should I get an irrevocable? I would never use revocable. What's the purpose of irrevocable? Well, the thing is understanding that each one of these structures serve a particular purpose. All right. Now, if you're not familiar with the term special purpose vehicle, I want to enlighten you tonight so that you understand that you can have more than one vehicle or more than one commercial vessel that you navigate through these commercial waters with. Okay. And it's very important to understand that you can have a revocable and an irrevocable. As a matter of fact, I would suggest having both, especially if you have tangible and intangible assets that you are entitled to, or you hold, or they're in your name and you want to get them out of your name. Now, my suggestion is if you have a revocable trust, or you're interested in a revocable trust, you use that trust as your public facing entity to deal with your personal affairs in the public. For instance, if you have bills in your personal name or your personal identification, then you can actually put those assets on a schedule up under that trust. That's completely fine, especially for accounts that's still open, revolving. Maybe you finance some assets and they're not completely paid for, or they're not completely owned, or you haven't settled that account for closure and you plan on doing it in the future. You can literally use the revocable structure as a pass-through to be able to just park them temporarily until you decide to transfer them over to a more permanent situation. Or you can just continue to use that trust specifically for, let's say, bank accounts, credit cards, car loans, mortgages, anything that you have financed, personal loans, insurance policy, things like that, that's going to be probably generating a payment every month, or you're going to have to continue to have that ongoing service available. You can have that revocable trust set up, get your revocable bank account, and have your bills on auto pay from that account. And then once a quarter, just do your accounting on that if that's what you're going to do. Once again, this is not tax advice, financial advice. This is based on personal experience, and this is just based on providing you with options and things to research and look into, because you need to make sure you're doing your due diligence and follow up with the information. Always research the research and always check the information that you're being delivered. Don't take my word for it. Okay. Now, definition of special purpose vehicle is a distinct, legally separate entity created by a parent company to fulfill a specific narrow objective, such as isolating financial risk, securitizing assets, or managing a single project. Okay. Special purpose vehicles act as independent companies with their own assets and liabilities, ensuring that if the parent firm goes bankrupt, the special purpose vehicle assets remain protected. So when we're talking about navigating through the commercial waters, right, a special purpose vehicle is a mode of transportation that you decide to travel through these commercial seas with. All right. Every special purpose vehicle that you utilize is like having a different car outside in your driveway, and you decide on which car you want to come out and drive in today, right? So knowing what the purpose of this special vehicle is allows you to understand, if I have a revocable trust, this is what I'm going to use it for. If I have an irrevocable trust, this is what I'm going to use it for. All right. Now, that's pretty much the main basic structure of all trusts. They're either revocable or irrevocable. So it's not just living trusts that are revocable, irrevocable. This is an actual functionality of the trust structure that you decide. All right. Because what we have to understand is there's a bunch of different types of trusts that you can have. You can have a trust for anything you can damn near think of. So it's not about just having a trust. It is the purpose of you having a trust. What is the purpose of this trust? What purpose does it serve? What is it being used for? All right. Another thing, all trusts are not created equal. Okay. So just because you have a trust doesn't mean you need to go shout it out at the rooftops on everybody. And now all of a sudden try to start asserting trust into your everyday operations. Okay. When wealthy people are using trust, they're really using trust as asset protections. You rarely even see trust showing up in the public. And usually trust is somewhere in the background operating like a private financial institution or bank, or they're just holding assets like a holding company, and or they're holding the right titles of interest, all right? And they're doing the split title method. We'll get more into that later on down the line. We're just going to keep it on the basic stuff this time. At this time. But we have more videos coming up. If this video helped to provide some clarity and understanding and help you to be able to make a decision about what kind of trust structure you need, please make sure you drop down below in the comments and give us some feedback. Also, if you like this type of content and you want to hear more, don't forget to hit that follow button. If you have any questions or inquiries that you would like to submit for us to be able to discuss and answer on the Remedy Report newsroom in the future, please don't forget to hit that link in the bio. Go to the website, hit the chat bot, drop your inquiry, or go to our email address and submit your inquiry by email, okay? We want to make sure that we're giving out accurate, up-to-date information and news that you can use as tools, all right? So as always, I hope this information helped to provide some clarity and some competency to those out there watching, all right? Next, we have coming up, we're going to be discussing the different types of power of attorneys and why you should make sure you have your power of attorneys in order if you don't, okay? And as always, if you need assistance or you need help or you need a one-on-one walkthrough or consultation, don't forget to hit us up and schedule your call today, all right? Peace.